Hey there everybody, my name is Rebecca Devitt and today we're going to be talking about something I'm rather passionate about, which is some reasons not to go to college. Before we get started, make sure you sign up for this channel. If you're on YouTube, click the subscribe button because I'm going to continue releasing more great videos like this to help you understand homeschooling a little bit better. So you've finished school and your parents say, hey, what about going to university or college? And you think to yourself, do I really need to do that? Or is that the only choice that is open to me? In this video, I'll be showing you why that might not be a good choice for you and what your alternative choice might be instead. Attending university is a popular option today. Among many of the homeschoolers I grew up with, college or university after you finished your studies was one of the main options. Perhaps that's because a college education was so coveted by our parents. That is, in our parents' generation, it was not affordable to go to college, but it was the ideal. And so our parents grew up with that as an ideal, and therefore they wanted to send their children to college to get that education they wished they could have had. But is it a good option these days when most people are doing the same thing? And you have to go to college to get more and more degrees to be able to do the same thing and study harder and harder, and the pay is not always that great. Is there an alternative? Well, I think there is. In this video, I'll show you 10 reasons not to go to college. The first reason not to do college is that you'll waste many years trying to get your college degree when you could have gotten your finances in order. If you understand compound interest, you'll understand that the earlier you start earning money and saving, the more compound interest you earned. And this is massive. In Scott Pape's book, The Barefoot Investor, he explained it. He gave us a chart which basically showed us, for example, if you start putting in $5,000 into savings from the age of 15 every year until you were 24 years old, then discontinued putting in $5,000 thereafter, you would make $2.71 million by the age of 60. But if your friend started putting in $5,000 from the age of 25, i.e. when they finished college or university, for the rest of his life, he would only make $1.61 million by the age of 60. So that's a massive difference. So that is $2.7 million compared to $1.6 million. Huge! So if you started saving at age 15, you would be something like better off by $1 million by the age of 60. So unless your college course will pay you huge sums of money upon graduation, you're probably going to be behind that kid who worked at Woolworths or Walmart and started when they were 15. The second reason not to do college is that you can study an entrepreneurial venture. These are fun. These are basically when you think up a business idea yourself and you put it into action. It's very self-directed. You learn a lot of the things you need to know from the internet and then you go and put in your action plan. This is great. You're not being spoon-fed by a teacher anymore and you're doing something really useful and you can earn money in the meantime. The great thing about an entrepreneurial venture is that you don't have to go and live on college campus. You can do it at your parents' place, which is so easy, and you get to save money. I remember Neil Patel, who is a business entrepreneur, he said that one of the great things for him was that he was able to start early at home and he could spend, instead of spending his money on rent, or because he was so young, he didn't have many expenses, he got to experiment a lot. And that meant that by the time he got to 25, he was making $1 million income because he had made so many mistakes earlier on and had got so ahead of the game. Of course, homeschoolers make great entrepreneurs because they are at home all the time. They can start their businesses as early as age 10 or as early as they want, really. Also, kids will never have a free or low-cost rent and low-cost living expenses again. This means they can develop their business ideas and take the hits that mistakes will give them without really impacting their business too much. They can go broke and then start all over again. An entrepreneurial venture will make your children think for themselves in a way that a lot of college courses do not encourage people to do these days. The third reason not to do a college course is that there is so much busy work. There's so much fluff that you just don't need to do. When I was doing my university degree, it was obvious that a lot of the courses that we were doing were just there to fill up the year's educational math. It was so well known that these courses were pure fluff, that everybody talked about it, and we all knew that we were just there to pay the fees and get our piece of paper. If you're studying an entrepreneurial venture, you don't need to do this fluff. And everything is free because you can just learn it all from YouTube, learn it all online. For example, as good as learning a language is, why do I need to know French 101, French 102 to become a medical scientist who is going to study bloods, and that's what their job is? There is no need, but you need to do that if you do a university course. Some might say learning these courses is great because it's holistic learning, but I do question whether or not this is university rhetoric made to make you spend more money on courses that you don't need. The fourth reason you shouldn't go to college is because tradesmen get paid more these days. That's because there's a shortage. Many tradespeople who have earned money during their internship then proceed to earn a lot of money after they finish. Whereas a lot of college graduates don't earn much at all after they finish. They've done a 3-year course and they do not earn a lot. For example, a 4-year electrical internship will give you a great trade which will make you earn, say, a minimum of $70 an hour. Whereas my medical science degree is now paying graduates who finish a 3-year degree about $23 an hour, so not much. My electrician has the option to surf before he starts work and only do a 4-hour day, so that's pretty cool. If a tradesman starts his apprenticeship around age 15, and that is when a lot of them do start it, you can see they'd be way ahead of the 8 ball by the time the college graduates finish. Unless you love liberal and progressive ideologies, the 5th reason not to go to college is because universities are all about teaching this. A lot of school graduates go into university and over 3 years of progressive indoctrination, and hey, let's admit it, there is indoctrination in everything, but these tend to be liberal and left. The minds of college students are slowly changed. So unless school graduates have a very strong grounding in their worldview, you can prepare for them to become progressive and left potentially. The 7th reason not to do college is because you can be left with a degree that is potentially useless and that you won't be able to earn any money with at all. My father-in-law likes to cheekily call these the basket weaving courses. A lot of the people who did my course, which was medical science, found that there were no jobs for them and that they would have to do another course, perhaps another 2 years, on top of what they were already doing. This was quite disappointing because a lot of them were quite sick of university by then. Many of them went on to do a 2-year postgraduate degree in teaching. The reason there was no job for them is because there was a job glut. That is, the university or universities around the country had trained too many of this particular graduate, and there was a job glut. I've even seen this happening in different professions. I heard a surgeon telling me the other day, he was a very eminent surgeon, but he said people who were graduating from surgery, so they'd become a doctor, they'd specialize in surgery, were having so much trouble finding a job as a surgeon and had to go back to hospital doctoring, which was not what they wanted to do and was not why they'd spent 14 years doing their speciality. These days we're seeing gluts in fields like medicine, engineering, a lot of those really eminent courses. Of course, the colleges don't seem to be too concerned that they're causing this glut in the market because they're very interested in the money. I've often wished I could talk to my younger self and say, don't go to university. It will be a waste of your time and a waste of your money. The 8th reason not to go to college is that you might have to do another course after the one you've done first. When you started the course, you might have been able to do your desired career with the university course you were doing. Now, because of the glut or because of differing qualifications that they're now demanding, you have to now do another course, another speciality on top of the one you previously did to be able to get the same job. So this might take you an extra couple of years perhaps more. I have a friend who did an arts degree and he wanted to work in a museum. He found that he had to do 2 bachelor degrees, so a 3-year degree, another 3-year degree on top of that, and a 2-year master's degree just to get a job. And that was huge. That was that's 8 years of studying all up. Huge. A few examples of these are science graduates. So if you've studied a biology degree or a medical science degree, you'll often have to upgrade that to do a pharmacy degree, to do a medical degree, to do a physiotherapy degree. Nutrition graduates, which is a 3-year course, often need to upgrade their degree and do a dietetics course because nobody will generally employ a nutritionist. And I've seen a lot of arts students go on to do a postgraduate teaching or a nursing course. This blows out to be a 5 or 6 year commitment instead of just the original 3-year commitment that you were keen on. Plus double the fees! And it's also delaying your finances for that many more years, which means that it will be that much harder for you to get a house later on. You might even have kids by this stage, and that will be hard, saving for a house with kids. We've done it, we know. Of course, I had a couple of friends who just gave up. They did their 3-year course and they said, this is ridiculous, I don't want to go back to university, I don't want to do another 2-3 year commitment. And so they go back and they work at Walmart for $20 an hour instead, which they could have been doing from the beginning and building up their money that way. If they'd done this earlier, they would have been better financially prepared. The 9th reason not to go to college is that you might have to delay your family. After doing 3 years at university, I started my medicine degree. The first day when we were there, the lecturer said, now, if you're not already in a relationship, don't get into one because it's going to be a huge distraction to the course. Later on, when my husband studied a postgraduate physiotherapy course, we couldn't have a family because it would have been very, very stressful to do that on top of his course. Consequently, we had children far later than we would have if we hadn't gone to university. As a woman, the happiest day of my life was when my son was born. It is an amazing joy to be a mother, and I wish that we'd done this perhaps a little bit earlier. The 10th reason to not go to college is that you can get a career in which you can use your hands, which can be very satisfying. If you go to university, chances are you won't be doing a course that requires you to use your hands. This is especially sad for a lot of young men who benefit from being outdoors and using their hands. Some of the benefits of manual work include stress reduction as you use your hands more and you release endorphins, which make you more relaxed. Manual labor helps with your sleep more as you're more physically exhausted by the end of the day. There's a case for improved learning as you're learning how to do things with your hands and not just your head and your pen. And of course, a physical job will help with obesity because you're not just at a desk or you're not just doing sedentary work all day long. While I won't say that university or college is a bad choice for everyone, for me, I wish I'd never been there. I wish someone had sat me down and outlined the pros and cons of university. When I originally went, there was only a pros list. There was never a cons list, and I think I can see the cons list a lot more clearly these days. A university commitment is a huge financial cost. I don't believe it really helps people much at all unless they get a very high-powered course. And then there's a huge hour commitment to a lot of those jobs. I would really urge my viewers to have a really good look at the pros and cons and make your choice wisely. Thanks for listening, guys. I really love doing these videos. Please let me know about your thoughts in the comments section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, perhaps what you're considering. And yeah, let me know if any of the reasons in this video have perhaps swayed you a little bit. Thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.